you've seen that comes to mind, aside from that?
Not sure that comes out in the Q&A.
Okay, all right. Well, with that, we can already start with questions. Sure.
So, for example, I have a startup and I haven't paid myself for the last few years. So I'm not an employee of my startup. Therefore, I cannot justify that, there's a loss of employment because I wasn't employed on the first place. But that doesn't mean that, I haven't had a salary for the last few years, right? And that I haven't had like a spending. So how do you value that? And how do you value that for the founders? Let's imagine you're a startup, you just 5 founders, you haven't had a penny and are not paying people.
So I'll repeat the question. So the question is, if you haven't paid yourself as a founder or founding team, how is this taken into consideration? So there's 2 ways. One is the government is asking for your costs in last year, 2019, and your projected costs in 2020. So, if you need a livable wage or if you have certain expenses, and the program allows for this to be taken into consideration, and the guidance there is 1/3 of that amount is typically, the guidance in the program for the amount of this guarantee. So if you have development costs, IP costs, running expenses, that is basically what is accounted for.
Yes, hi, Francesca Greco from Exit Currency. Actually, I would like to know, for example, if you want to protect a part of your IP or the patents, at international level, for example, in WIPO, can the protection of the patent be included in the running costs?
In the running, yes. Yes. So the question is whether cost of protecting IP and filing for certain protections on a global level is can be included in these running costs, and the answer is yes.
When is the application deadline, and is the budget capped? So could it be that the budget is already spent before the application deadline?
So, do you want to repeat the question? So, question was on the application deadline and on the overall budget, and is it a first come first served basis, basically? So the application deadline is end of August. The budget that the Canton of Zug has communicated is 5 million. The way this will work is that there will be that's 1/3 of the amount available to startups in Zug, because Switzerland will contribute 2/3. So in essence, for startups in the Canton of Zug, that means there is 15 million available. What we should also say, by the way, is that the amount of the guarantee startups may receive does not necessarily have to equal the amount of credit your bank is willing to provide you, right? So it could be that the bank is saying, okay, fine, you got a guarantee for 250,000. I'm happy to give you a loan for 200 because I want a risk adjustment. We don't have much experience on that yet, but it could be the case. We are checking startups as they come in. To a degree, I would be rather quicker than wait until the end, right? Because it's just more opportunity that way. I think we also need to say that for Switzerland as a whole, there's a budget of 150 million, right? So theoretically, at some point, that could be used up.
So if the startup is yet to be funded, therefore no expenses had to go to 2019, you're not eligible to apply, is that correct?
No, you're eligible to apply based on your projected costs.
No, hang on.
Sorry, can you repeat the
Not
question?
founded yet.
Not founded yet?
Funded yet.
No.
Okay.
You're not eligible.
So you have to be founded latest 3/2020.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah. Sure.
So am I right that the actual terms of the loan will be bank specific and defined by a bank. I mean, interest rate and other conditions, the term and so on.
Correct. So the question was, are the terms of the loan defined by the bank? The answer is yes. So it's also, if you want to pre-check that with your existing bank, how they will approach that. A lot of banks we see either already have made public statements in terms of the process, or they reach out to their startup customers. By the way, if you're going for this program, here's the process with us. So I'm sure you can determine that with your bank ahead of time what it would be, so that would be the recommendation. Having said that, with a quasi-government, with a government guarantee, there will be very favorable terms. What we should say is the fact that what they can do with the money. What they can do with the money, limitations with the money.
Oh, true. Yeah. So, but in the process, you will see that. So the question is, what can you or can you not do with this money? It's clearly laid out in the process and in the documents that you sign. So you cannot pay related parties. You cannot pay related parties outside of Switzerland. You cannot pay out dividends. You cannot pay out these credits as dividends. Provide loans to related entities, for example. So it's quite specific what you can and cannot do. Yes, in the back.
Can you clarify the basis of the loan? Is it 2019 expenses, or is it on pro forma 2020, or a combination? How is that determined?
So the question is, again, is it based on 2019 actuals or 2020 projected or pro forma? So the common understanding also of the program is that this is not here to provide expansion and growth financing, right? This program is designed by the government, by the federal government, with the guidelines to basically provide liquidity relief and enable startups to survive these difficult times, which has an impact basically on your financial condition and on your business condition, so to speak. So assume that you're claiming that you need to expand, X amount of headcount in your projections. That will probably be problematic and against the spirit and also the guidelines of the program. Right? This is really about survival to a next financing round, or maintaining essential business, basically.
So the specific request will be to demonstrate your yearly expenses for 2019, and the specific guideline from for all of Switzerland is that that up to 1/3 of your expenses of 2019 will be the maximum for the guarantee. Having said that, if you are a young startup and you're in a dynamic growth, or if you're a startup that has only started in 2019, I would suggest interpret it your way, i.e. last 12 months rolling, and then make the case, right? So we give that flexibility to make that case, but what we cannot give is any pre-clearance or pre-suggestions. So, I would say work along those guidelines and then interpret them for yourself.
So to kind of clarify that, if you were founded in 2019, you could make a case that I want to take my, last 3 months and pro forma those forward as if they're annualized.
Correct.
Okay.
Further, maybe also from the team, what other questions have we forgotten that you think could be relevant?
I think that's pretty much it for the moment, but I don't know.
Oh, there was one question on Zug.
Is it necessary to have a full-time employee located in Zug?
So the question is whether you have to have full-time employees in Zug. So the guidance is clear. You know, the key value generation should be in Switzerland. You know, preferably in Zug. You know, the economic benefits of the activity should also accrue in Switzerland. That's basically the idea.
Do we have any online questions?
No.
No.
So if we, yes.
Can you provide slides to the community at the meetup or channel or?
Yes.
The question is whether the slides will be provided. The answer is yes.
Okay. Any other?
I mean, I have another question, but it's not related to this. When you mentioned that you have founded CV Labs also in Dubai, and I would like to know what is the purpose and where is it located? Is it in the DFC or Abu Dhabi or?
Okay. Well, we can take this topic offline, but yes, CV Labs has presence in Dubai in the MCC. Yes.
I know the term. Okay. Yeah. I understand.
Okay. Perfect. And well, we will have an official opening in September.
Oh, great.
Yes. So I mean, we
Yeah,
can
we
connect, and I
something
can keep
fun.
you post with all the developments. But yes, CV Labs is funded. The opening was delayed due to COVID, but the site is there and everything is ready.
The reason why I asked is because we applied for a sandbox license in DRC, in the FSA, but as they've been very delayed with the crypto guidelines, so we've been following and working with them for a long time. And so, I mean, it's very interesting actually.
Yeah, we can connect after the event offline for this. Okay, is there any other questions? Yes.
Actually, got one more question. So you were very much focusing on the value generation in Canton Zug. So what would be more important, value creation in Canton Zug, or let's say a sustainable business model which will help you to pay back the loan? Because we didn't talk about paying back the loan at a certain point of time. So I was just asking, all of our debts are sitting outside Switzerland, but we're earning money so we can pay back, but we have, well, all our stuff not in Zug, it's somewhere offshore.
So the question is whether, you know, operations outside of Switzerland or outside of Zug will have an impact on, you know, on your chances to be approved. The answer is, well, it happens if your company is incorporated in Zug, you can only apply in the canton of Zug for this program. And the important thing is that the importance aspects are that the economic benefits of your activities accrue to the company in Switzerland, right? So obviously, you know, there are companies that are incorporated in Zug. They may have a few employees in Zug, but they have, you know, office space in Zurich, for example, or in other parts of Switzerland. And that is not, you know, a detriment to your application, because, you know, your location is here and you're employed. I mean, you're incorporated in Zug.
Ability to repay.
The question about the ability to repay. So the government is very clear. This is, you know, the program is designed to address the liquidity issues or the impact of this economic crisis on the startup. So obviously, it is important that you can repay. On the other hand, you know, this is by nature an uncertain, you know, situation. So both the program as it is designed and the discussions around it basically stipulate that you have to have, you know, a serious ongoing business concern, but it, you know, it doesn't make any requirements in terms of the projections of your business development.
Okay. I think those are all the questions. Olaf and Ralph are here.
I have one more.
Oh, okay.
I just thought of one more thing because we got that in terms of turnaround time. When can I get an answer, right? So there's a few elements. Number one, it's a process where both the canton and us, we cannot pre-clear or guide, hey, I'm thinking about this application, is it worthwhile applying? should I even start the process? We can't do that, otherwise we're just full with pre-clearance, right? And then we add an additional element onto the workload of the good people at the canton. So that won't work. The turnaround time will be such that as soon as you've submitted your application, within the next 24 hours, basically 24 to 48 hours, you get the additional questionnaire from us. That will take a little bit of time to fill in. Once you have that, we will strive to bring all cases to a internal decision committee at the canton within the next 2 weeks, and then answer, positive yes or no, or will require more information as soon as possible thereafter. Right, so that's in terms of the speed of the process. We'll try and be very fast once we get all the information that we require. Sure.
Can you give some more information on that additional questionnaire? So you said it's quite some work, so what should we prepare for that?
Well, it's going into a little more detail on actually where you are heading, right? The qualitative aspects of your startup in terms of outlining, you're describing your business plan in words, if you will, as opposed to, here's an Excel spreadsheet. It goes into this whole notion of, actual startup definition, because you may be surprised of, who thinks they are a startup and who is a startup. It goes into that context of, Zug, Switzerland versus external. I would say those are the main additional elements that we have, but also into your financial runway and situation, because clearly that's also something we need to weigh up. If there is, 24 or 36 months still runway, we will, challenge that question on to which extent is there a true financial liquidity issue right now. Right? And describing that a little more in detail to what is a very much check the box exercise through the general application process. So here it's just that the canton has decided we want to be a bit more sensitive to our taxpayer money and understand a little more who we're supporting. And by the way, through that we may even help the startups prepare better for the next venture capital financing round, because those are the questions that you would also get in a VC setting.
Fantastic. Okay. Well, in any case, you have other questions. You still have the opportunity to ask Olaf and Ralph because they are staying here. Right now, we will pass to the drinks. We are really glad because since yesterday we are allowed to get this set up. So please just go and serve yourself. There is drinks and some snacks offered. Thanks to Tissus that is sponsoring this event. So please stay, exchange ideas. I mean, as well, another purpose of having this event on site is because we know it is needed to create community. So you can meet with another fellow startup founders and exchange ideas. This is really important. Unfortunately, this is not possible just with events online. So please take the opportunity to connect. Alberto from Canton is here, so if you have specific questions for the authorities from the canton, don't miss this chance, and then Olaf and Ralph.
I hear one more question.
Okay.
Yes, but I'll ask it for him.
One more question.
What should you do if you're uncertain whether you should apply or not? I guess the answer is clear: apply, right? Because it's you invest a little bit of time, but it's also a good